Do you remember the drowning world of Waterworld in 1995? That world looked fictional. But what happened to the cast after filming felt even more unreal. Some cast members vanished into silence, and others were pulled into heartbreaking tragedies that no one saw coming. Today, only one of them is still alive. Let's uncover the truth behind the film and pay tribute to the legacies they left behind. Leonardo Cimino as Elder sits slightly away from the younger council members, tracing old maps with shaking hands while repeating fragments of stories about the old world. When the idea of dryland is mentioned, he doesn't argue. He just pauses, as if remembering something that hurts too much to say clearly. Born November 4, 1917 in New York City, Leonardo Cimino was 77 years old when he played the role. By that point, Cimino's career stretched across theater, television, and film for more than 7 decades. He appeared in V, 1983, as Abraham Bernstein, Dune, 1984, directed by David Lynch as the Emperor's advisor, and The Monster Squad, 1987, as the memorable, scary German guy. His stage background came from rigorous classical training, and he remained active in regional theater productions well into the 1990s, even while continuing screen work. Raised in a working-class Italian immigrant family during the Great Depression, Cimino supported himself through manual labor jobs before attending the Juilliard School. That early struggle shaped his disciplined approach to acting, and colleagues often described him as one of the most technically precise performers of his generation. Leonardo Cimino died on March 3, 2012, at the age of 94 at his home in Woodstock, New York, from complications related to respiratory illness and COPD, closing a career that quietly spanned the evolution of modern American cinema. Gerard Murphy as Nord stays close to Deacon's inner circle in Waterworld, often positioned just behind him during operations, stepping in only when intimidation or force is required. He is the one who physically restrains captives and enforces Deacon's decisions without question, reinforcing the hierarchy inside the smokers. Born in Belfast, Northern Ireland, Gerard Murphy was 46 years old during filming. To gain the role, Murphy's reputation was built heavily through theater work with the Royal Shakespeare Company. He later reached wider international audiences with Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins, 2005, with $370 million movie gross, and appeared in BBC's long-running Doctor Who universe productions. His career remained more theater-centered than mainstream Hollywood, with consistent stage work across UK regional theaters throughout the 1990s and early 2000s. However, Murphy was diagnosed with prostate cancer in the late 2000s, a condition that gradually worsened despite ongoing treatment, including radiation therapy. He reduced stage appearances significantly after 2010 due to fatigue and health complications. He was married to actress and theater professional Stella McCabe, and the couple maintained a low-profile life in Cambridge during his final years. Gerard Murphy died on August 26, 2013 at Addenbrooke's Hospital in Cambridge at the age of 64, after complications from prostate cancer. R.D. Call as Enforcer operates as one of Deacon's most reliable enforcers in Waterworld, often seen leading armed escorts during raids and physically overseeing prisoner control within the smokers' operations. He is directly involved in securing resources during water-based attacks, acting as both muscle and field coordinator under Deacon's command structure. Born July 16, 1950 in Torrance, California, R.D. Call was 45 years old when he portrayed Enforcer. Call built his career through a long list of supporting roles in crime and action cinema, including Born on the 4th of July, 1989, and Into the Wild, 2007, directed by Sean Penn. He also appeared in television series such as Sons of Anarchy and CSI, Crime Scene Investigation, maintaining steady screen work across 4 decades of television and film. However, Call never married, choosing instead to focus almost entirely on acting roles and on-location filming work throughout the 1980s to 2000s. He often worked consecutive low-budget productions in California and Utah to maintain financial stability, particularly during periods when supporting actor demand fluctuated in the early 1990s. In early 2020, Call underwent complex spinal surgery after years of cumulative back injuries from stunt-heavy roles and physical film work. Post-operative complications developed shortly after the procedure, and he died on February 27, 2020 in Utah at the age of 70. Dennis Hopper as Deacon Deacon leans back on the command platform while the crew around him waits for permission to even breathe, then casually orders a man thrown overboard without raising his voice. The way he watches destruction unfold feels almost entertained, like violence is just another tool he's already comfortable using. Born May 17, 1936 in Dodge City, Kansas, Dennis Hopper was 59 years old during filming. By that point, Hopper had already built a reputation as one of Hollywood's most unpredictable legends. He rose to fame with Easy Rider, 1969, a groundbreaking film he directed and starred in, earning an Academy Award nomination, and later cemented his reputation with Blue Velvet, 1986, and Apocalypse Now, 1979. Across more than 150 screen appearances, he built a career defined by raw intensity and creative rebellion. That same intensity carried into his personal life, where stability was almost non-existent. Years of drug and alcohol addiction throughout the 1970s and 1980s damaged his reputation and led to industry blacklisting, while his private life unraveled through 5 marriages, including a famously brief 8-day union with Michelle Phillips in 1970. Financial and legal struggles followed him for decades, often overshadowing his artistic achievements. Dennis Hopper died on May 29, 2010, at the age of 74 after complications from prostate cancer. Even in his final years, after attempts at recovery and reflection, he remained a symbol of Hollywood's duality, brilliance constantly shadowed by self-destruction. Michael Jeter as Old Gregor. Old Gregor clutches broken navigation tools while shouting half-complete theories about dryland, even as the room shakes and everyone else gives up on him. He keeps rebuilding the same fragile machine over and over, refusing to accept that the ocean around him might never end. Born August 26, 1952, in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, Michael Jeter was 42 years old during production. Jeter had already built a respected career in Hollywood before Waterworld. He won an Emmy Award in 1992 for Evening Shade, and later delivered a deeply emotional performance in The Green Mile, 1999, as Edouard Delacroix. With more than 50 acting credits, he became known for roles that balanced humor with quiet emotional depth. Behind that versatility, however, was a life shaped by constant internal struggle. Growing up in a conservative environment while being gay forced him into years of emotional pressure, and he publicly revealed his HIV-positive diagnosis in 1997. Alongside that, he battled long-term alcohol addiction, which periodically affected both his personal stability and professional life. Michael Jeter died on March 30th, 2003, at the age of 50, due to complications from epilepsy. His passing ended the career of a performer who often portrayed fragile, hopeful characters, roles that felt painfully close to the quiet battles he fought away from the camera. Zakes Moke as Priam. Priam stands in the middle of the atoll council circle while arguments break out around him, and instead of raising his voice, he slowly turns each accusation into silence just by choosing who he looks at first. When panic spreads about fuel and water shortages, he is the one calmly ordering ration control while others are still shouting over each other. Born in Johannesburg, South Africa, Zakes Moke was 61 years old during filming. Moke's international breakthrough came through theater, earning a Tony Award in 1982 for Best Actor in Master Harold and The Boys. He became widely recognized for roles in The Serpent and the Rainbow, 1988, and later appearances in productions such as A Dry White Season, 1989. He worked extensively between London, New York, and Hollywood, maintaining a strong presence in both stage and film acting communities. His life was deeply shaped by apartheid-era South Africa, where his early artistic work was seen as politically charged, forcing him into exile in 1969 as he moved first to the UK and later to the United States. He was married to Mandy Moke, marriage beginning in the 1960s, and the relationship remained a stable anchor during decades of relocation and professional uncertainty. In later life, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, which gradually affected his mobility and speech. Zakes Moke died on September 11, 2009 in Las Vegas at the age of 75, following complications linked to a stroke and long-term illness. Rick Avils as Atoll Gatesman. The Gatesman barely has time to react when strangers arrive at the atoll gates in Waterworld, shifting from casual watchfulness to sudden tension as he hesitates between curiosity and fear. His short exchange with the mariner quickly escalates into panic, and that hesitation costs him control of the situation in seconds. Born October 14, 1952 in Manhattan, New York, Rick Avils was 42 years old during filming. Avils had already reached international recognition for his role as Willie Lopez in Ghost, 1990. In addition to film work, he was a respected stand-up comedian in New York's late-night club circuit, performing regularly at venues such as The Comic Strip and Catch a Rising Star during the 1980s. His comedy style often drew from street life experiences in Manhattan, which shaped much of his early material. His early years were marked by growing up in tough neighborhoods of New York City. He struggled with heroin addiction, a battle that later led to HIV infection due to unsafe needle use. Later, he was already dealing with serious health complications while still working intermittently in film and comedy. Rick Avils died on March 17, 1995 in Los Angeles at the age of 42, just months before Waterworld was released, with his death later confirmed to be related to AIDS complications following an initial report of heart failure. William Preston as depth gauge. The depth gauge sits quietly at the control panel, reading the ocean pressure as if every number is the only thing keeping the entire vessel from collapsing into the deep. His calm voice over the instruments contrasts sharply with the danger outside. Born August 26, 1921 in Mannheim, Pennsylvania, William Preston was 73 years old when he portrayed Depth Gauge. That long career was shaped by a life built far from Hollywood at first. He earned a master's degree in English literature from Penn State before serving in the U.S. Navy, where he worked as a translator stationed in Korea. After returning, he slowly transitioned into theater work, eventually becoming part of the classical stage circuit before moving into film and television roles in Los Angeles and New York. A late start defined his career. He entered acting at age 47 and still managed to build a resume of more than 60 Shakespeare stage productions across the United States and Canada. His film appearances include The Fisher King, 1991, which received 5 Academy Award nominations, Far and Away, 1992, starring Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, and Family Business, 1989, alongside Sean Connery. He also appeared in The Crucible, 1996, and became widely known on television for Late Night with Conan O'Brien, giving him unexpected cult recognition late in his career. Sadly, he passed away in 1998 at the age of 76 in New York City. His legacy remains tied to stage Shakespeare work, late career television recognition, and a rare path of someone who only became an actor after an entirely different life had already begun. Kevin Costner as Mariner. The Mariner emerges from the ocean like a warning rather than a hero, staying distant from everyone on the atoll and reacting with suspicion to every attempt at trust or cooperation. His actions often feel unpredictable, protecting others one moment, then disappearing without explanation the next. Born January 18, 1955 in Linwood, California, Kevin Costner was 40 years old during filming. Costner had already reached major Hollywood power status before Waterworld, winning the Academy Award for Best Picture and Best Director for Dances with Wolves, 1990, where he also starred as Lieutenant John Dunbar. His other major films include The Bodyguard, 1992, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, 1991, and later he returned to global prominence with the television phenomenon Yellowstone, 2018 to 2024. Despite that success, Waterworld became one of the most stressful productions of his career, with a reported budget exceeding $170 million after severe weather destroyed parts of the floating set in Hawaii. The production delays and escalating costs placed him under intense industry scrutiny, with constant media speculation about financial risk and studio pressure during filming. In his personal life, Costner's first marriage to Cindy Silva ended in 1994 after 16 years, with settlement reports estimating the divorce cost him around $80 million. Decades later, in 2023, his second divorce from Christine Baumgartner became highly publicized due to disputes over child support and property division. At 71 in 2026, he continues working actively, leading the ambitious film project Horizon, an American saga. Jean Tripplehorn as Helen drags Enola through gunfire and collapsing chaos, yanking her behind broken structures, forcing her head down as bullets tear through metal just inches away, never loosening her grip even when escape routes start disappearing. When armed men close in from both sides, she steps forward without hesitation, blocking their line of sight as if her body alone can hold the situation together. Born June 10, 1963 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Jean Tripplehorn was 32 years old when she took part in the production. Before Waterworld, Tripplehorn had already built a strong Hollywood profile through major studio films like Basic Instinct, 1992, and The Firm, 1993, which grossed over $270 million worldwide. She later expanded into television, earning an Emmy nomination for her portrayal of Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis in Grey Gardens, 2009. Away from the screen, her life carried a quieter emotional weight. The death of her mother during her early adult years became a defining personal loss. During that time, she also went through a dangerous on-set incident when a filming boat overturned at sea in Waterworld. As of 2026, at age 63, Jean Tripplehorn continues to live in the United States, working selectively in television and independent film projects while maintaining a low-profile family life with actor Leland Orser, focusing more on privacy and long-term stability than mainstream Hollywood visibility. Tina Majorino as Enola is constantly being pulled, lifted, and shielded as chaos unfolds around her, holding on to Helen or the Mariner whenever the water rises or violence breaks too close, her silence carrying more fear than words ever could. Born February 7, 1985 in Westlake, California, Tina Majorino was 10 years old when she worked on the film. That early exposure to Hollywood quickly turned into steady recognition, and after Waterworld, she continued building a career that moved between film and television. She appeared in Napoleon Dynamite, 2004, as Deb, Veronica Mars, 2004 to 2019, and Grey's Anatomy. What followed was a gradual shift in how she approached the industry. After years of early fame and intense scheduling pressure as a child actor, she stepped away from acting in the late 1990s to focus on education and personal recovery from burnout, later returning with a more selective approach to roles and public exposure. She has also spoken about the long-term psychological impact of early fame and the need for healthier environments for young performers. As of 2026, at age 41, she lives privately in the United States, working selectively in entertainment while also supporting mental health awareness initiatives related to child actors and industry pressure. Neil Giuntoli as Hellfire Gunner. The Hellfire gunner opens fire from the smoker's platform with no warning, turning every encounter into instant destruction while staying almost emotionless as the chaos spreads around him. He doesn't lead conversations. He ends them, holding position as if violence is simply part of routine duty. Born December 20th, 1959 in Chicago, Illinois, Neil Giuntoli was 35 years old when he appeared in the production. From cult horror success in Child's Play, 1988, to a role in The Shawshank Redemption, 1994, which received 7 Academy Award nominations, his screen presence became associated with intense, unstable, or morally complex characters. He also appeared in major television series including Seinfeld and The Jeff Foxworthy Show, while building a parallel reputation in theater. His personal life remained closely tied to Chicago. He served in the U.S. Navy as a translator stationed in Korea before returning to pursue theater. He maintained a career focused on stage writing and independent performance work. In 2026, he is 66 years old and divides his time between Chicago and Los Angeles. He continues developing theater scripts and selective film appearances, with current focus on expanding stage projects rooted in political and historical storytelling, connected to Chicago's theater scene. Jack Black as Smoker Plane Pilot. The Smoker pilot throws the hydroplane into violent air currents, laughing over the roar of engines as if chaos is something he refuses to take seriously. Every maneuver feels unstable but confident. Born August 28, 1969 in Santa Monica, California, Jack Black was 26 years old when he took the role of plane pilot. His breakthrough came with School of Rock, 2003, earning over $130 million worldwide and a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor. Kung Fu Panda became one of the highest-grossing animation franchises in history with more than $2 billion global box office across its run. Jumanji. Welcome to the Jungle, 2017, reached $962 million worldwide, confirming his position as a global comedy lead. Tenacious D earned a Grammy Award in 2015 for Best Metal Performance, strengthening his presence beyond film. Behind that success, his personal life moved through instability during his younger years after his parents divorced when he was 10. That period shaped his emotional direction and pushed him toward performing arts instead of a conventional academic path. Sooner, he married artist Tanya Hayden in 2006, after several years of relationship development in the music and art scene. They have 2 sons. The marriage remained stable through decades of public fame and touring pressure. In 2026, he is 57 years old and based in Los Angeles. He continues working in film, animation voice roles, and Tenacious D music projects. Upcoming plans include new family-oriented film projects and continued touring appearances with live comedy music performances. Robert Joy as Ledger Guy. The Ledger Guy sits behind the control desk, quietly recording figures while explosions and panic unfold around him. Even when tension rises, he barely looks up, treating survival outside like something secondary to what he is calculating. Born August 17, 1951 in Montreal, Quebec, Robert Joy was 43 years old when he played the role. From early film recognition in Atlantic City, 1980, which received 5 Academy Award nominations, his career expanded into a steady stream of high-profile projects. He appeared in Ragtime, 1981, and Desperately Seeking Susan, 1985, both contributing to his growing reputation in major studio cinema. His most sustained success came through CSI NY, 2004 to 2013, where he appeared in more than 180 episodes as Dr. Sid Hammerback. That professional stability was paired with a complex personal life shaped by long-term relationships and loss. He was married to actress Mary Joy, and they share a daughter, Ruby Joy, who later entered the acting industry. After their separation, he experienced the death of his partner William Duff Griffin in 1994, and later formed a long-term relationship with Broadway composer Henry Krieger starting in 1995, maintaining a private but consistent personal life while continuing stage and screen work. In 2026, he is 74 years old and currently based between New York and Canada. He continues working in theater, particularly Shakespeare productions, while making selective appearances in film and television, with ongoing involvement in stage projects across North American theater circuits. Kim Coates as Drifter. The Drifter circles the mariner's vessel with calculated patience, studying reactions more than words, and shifting from negotiation to violence without hesitation. His presence feels like pressure building before impact, controlled but unpredictable. Born February 21, 1958 in Saskatoon, Canada, Kim Coates was 37 years old when he portrayed Drifter in the movie. His career reached global recognition through Sons of Anarchy, 2008 to 2014, spanning 92 episodes as Tig Traeger, one of the most defining characters in modern crime television. Black Hawk Down, 2001, grossed over $173 million worldwide, reinforcing his reputation in large-scale military and action storytelling. Across more than 40 film and television credits, he has remained a consistent presence in Hollywood and Canadian productions, often cast in intense supporting roles with strong psychological edge. In his personal life, he married Diana Coates in 1984 after meeting her in Canada during his early acting years. Their relationship remained stable through decades of industry pressure and long filming schedules across North America. The couple raised 2 daughters and maintained a low-profile family life away from Hollywood publicity. Despite the demands of typecast roles, he chose consistency over relocation of his private life, keeping his family base intact in Canada. In 2026, he is 68 years old and continues working in film, television, and theater across the U.S. and Canada. He is currently involved in independent film productions and stage acting projects, with plans to expand into producing smaller character-driven dramas in the coming years. So, when you look back at Waterworld, 1995 versus 2026, cast then and now in 2026, it doesn't feel like just a film anymore. It feels like a collection of lives that drifted far beyond the screen. The action, the chaos, and the survival story on water were only the beginning. Some turned into Hollywood legends, some vanished into quiet careers, and some left behind stories far darker than anything shown in the film. So what do you remember most? The movie or the people who lived through it? And which cast story shocked you the most when you saw how far they went after 1995? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more Then and Now 2026 Cast Journeys.